Não tem nada que o David quer, o assunto que ele quer.
Okay, everyone. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time. So we have a lot of people coming in and joining us, and I am going to go live also on Instagram. Welcome back to Samba Family Live at Thursdays nights. And tonight we have two very, very, very special guests. Amazing opportunity for us to talk a little bit about the Brazilian Bulls in the world, the Brazilian Bulls worldwide. That's our movement that we've been taking care for so long with so much love. And we finally have established a beautiful partnership between Brazil and the world through Mr. Dave Wilson, ABKC. Thank you for joining us tonight. Dave, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. Hello, Beatriz.
Hello, Dave.
Yes. And this is Beatriz. For the ones that don't know, Beatriz is the president of IBC, the parent club of the Brazilian Bulls breed in Brazil. Welcome, Beatriz. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing?
Tudo bem. Eu que agradeço a oportunidade de poder participar dessa live e poder esclarecer, enfim, todas as questões para os criadores, especialmente sobre a importância de se manter controle rigoroso nos registros.
Absolutely. So she's just thanking us for having them here and being able to explain to all the breeders the importance of having a registry behind a breed, and with all the regulations. And we're going to talk a little bit about this tonight. So we are live now, both on YouTube and Instagram and on Facebook. So welcome everybody. I'm not going to be able to read all the questions right now. I'm going to be focusing because it's pretty late already where Dave is, and I don't want to take too much of his time. But we're going to be talking about a few issues that have been going on, a few questions regarding the registration of these dogs in Brazil, in America, and what is the importance of having this partnership and this recognition of the breed through ABKC. Okay, Dave, can you tell us a little bit about how you see the importance of the new breed Brazilian Bull for ABKC and for the bully community, not only in America, but in the world?
Well, this is a breed that is comprised of a lot of American bully blood, but the breed was created, obviously they'll be able to explain more in detail than we can, obviously, using other breeds. And it's become a big thing in Brazil, and it's starting to become, big in America and in other parts of the world. We just want to do our part and open the stage for the breed, offer another platform for displaying the breed through ABKC. So I think it's not only is it very important, but it's a great fit for ABKC. It's a great fit for a lot of our bully owners too. There's a lot of bully owners that are into the XL as well as into the Brazilian Bull. So I think this was the perfect time for this, and then linking with, Beatriz and you and trying to push this. I think at this moment, I think it was the perfect time and the perfect opportunity for this. As I am not the expert for this breed at all. We have the experts online here right now. So, I think we're here as a sister registry. We are not the parent registry for the breed. And as a sister registry, our job is to follow the guidelines of the parent registry and just to offer another platform for the exposure of the breed and the owners and, exhibitors of the breed.
No, absolutely. And we have been seeing, I don't know if you have been following recently the number of imports and litters that are being registered in America, and not only in America, but all over the world through ABKC. And the numbers are, I think it's growing so rapidly. Like, I don't know how to compare with another breed, but do you have any information on the statistics of these registries?
I would just tell you this is the next up and coming breed. At this moment, it is one of the fastest growing breeds within our registry. So, I don't have the exact figures on that, but I can tell you there's a lot of interest in the breed, a lot of demand for the breed. So I think that this breed has a lot of opportunities here in the States and worldwide and through ABKC. So I can't give you the exact, but I can tell you that it's definitely a lot of interest in, recent times and, this year.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, as a breeder acting outside of Brazil, I can give you right away, like I can tell you, I have litters of XLs and I have litters of Brazilian bulls, and my Brazilian bulls litter are selling out so fast, like, and they're not cheap. We are, we're taking advantage of the moment because there's a lot of demand. Of course, we can kind of market ourselves right now, and this is a good way to start a breed, kind of controlling this environment, but with the same opportunities that we see that is great for a breed, we also see people taking advantage, and other registries is being started to take advantage of the situation, because of course there's money involved, and we know that everything that there's a lot of money involved, there's going to be opportunists everywhere.
And
so
that can become detrimental. I mean, that is, especially in new breeds, it's a problem that we had with the American Bully. And you don't want to spread a breed too thin too soon. And the worst thing you can do is have multiple registries out there with different interpretations and different lineages and different representations of a breed, and taking it in so many directions when it's still young and fresh. So that can actually become very detrimental. That's why it's imperative that it stays within the hands of the parent registry, especially for the growing phase of a breed, which is way more than 20 years. A lot of people think a breed is completed within 10, 15 years. And we all know in this business, the truth is, completion of a breed from beginning to end is, we're looking at, 50-year process, probably at minimal. So to put a new breed in the hands of so many different sources that aren't the parent sources, like I said, can be detrimental to a new breed. So that we have to be careful about that.
Yeah, and we're not even here tonight to talk about phenotype or genealogy or anything like that. We're basically giving you the importance of having official registries behind a breed, like ABKC is for the American Bully, the IBC is for the Brazilian Bulls, because IBC was, for you that don't know, they were the ones that gave the pit monsters at that time a house, a name, a standard. They did the due diligence document-wise to start as a new breed, to give the foundational stock documents that are necessary when a breed is supposed to be started. And the stud books being open, meaning this is a breed is still in formation. We're not talking about just putting two and two together. We're talking about a group of knowledgeable people behind the registry that understands anatomy, that understands history, and that understands genealogy and phenotype of these dogs, to accept this to be part of the breed foundation or not. And this is why we have IBC for this. And the importance of having IBC working with ABKC, because ABKC, we are honored to have them representing the breed worldwide. And I thank you, Dave, for that, for all the, the multiple meetings that we have to make that happen. It was not an easy ride. We had to have a 2-3 year period of ups and downs. As you guys know, I have to have my dogs are grandfathered in. If I could transfer all of them to Brazilian Bulls, I would, because that's what they are. But this was a process that was needed to get to the point where we are here. So, Beatriz, do you have anything that you would like to say to the Brazilian and to the American and to the international audience that we have, or to ask Dave regarding what's going on? Because we see a lot of things already starting to pop that kind of worries, about the breed.
Assim, a conversa ficou um pouco longa, eu não sei se eu entendi tudo, mas de antemão eu queria agradecer ao Dave Wilson pelo que ele tem feito pela raça. Não sei se você já me apresentou em algum momento, mas eu sou uma pessoa que eu sou muito correta nas coisas que eu faço, né? Eu sou veterinária, hoje eu tenho 4 pós-graduações,
Let me translate. Okay. Beatriz is saying, first and foremost, to thank Dave Wilson for the opportunity of working together. Beatriz, for the ones that don't know, she's the president of IBC. She's she's a veterinarian, as well as she is postgraduated. What else did you say? I'm sorry. O que mais você falou?
Hoje eu tenho 4 pós-graduações. Eu estou falando isso.
4 post-graduations, that's right.
Mas por que eu estou falando isso? Estou falando isso porque, assim, eu tenho um nome, eu tenho uma reputação. E tudo que a gente começou a construir, eu crio cachorro há mais de 25 anos, a gente não poderia entregar para qualquer instituição seguir esse trabalho que foi tão penoso.
Okay, so the reason that she's saying, her resume is because she has a big name in what she does. She has a huge career in what she's been doing for 25 years, also breeding dogs, and she could not play with her reputation, with her name, and she would never give her work in the hands of just anybody. And having ABKC working with her, was just the right thing to do.
Nada menos que o melhor, né? Que a instituição com maior reputação no meio das raças Bully, a instituição que conseguiu fazer a raça American Bully, a instituição conseguiu preservar a raça American Bully, porque a gente a raça American Bully já se viu diante de muitos mixes, outras já seguiram o caminho para o Exotic Bully, e o Dave, né, a ABKC, conseguiu preservar a raça de uma maneira honrada. E quando a gente acompanha todo esse histórico, a gente sabe que está entregando as raças nas mãos de pessoas certas. E eu não ficaria tranquila antes de conseguir fazer essa parceria com a ABKC, que a gente entende que realmente é a melhor que tem hoje no mundo afora.
Yes, and Beatriz is just saying the importance for her and for IBC to have ABKC being the partner of the recognition worldwide for the breed, because Dave Wilson has done this with American Bully. He's been through all these issues that Beatriz is going through right now, because it's part of a breeding formation, and he knows exactly how to deal with every step of this process. So she's just saying how important it is for her to be working with ABKC, and thankful for the opportunity.
Well, thank her as well. And I mean, we're here to help. We're, again, like I said, we're not here to be the creator of this breed. That's their creation. We're just here to be another platform and represent the breed the way that it's supposed to be represented through its parent registry. So again, it's kind of how we are with other breeds. Like, we don't do anything with Old English Bulldogs. We would accept the house registry to register those dogs. Or for the Shorty Bull, we would accept their house registry. Or for the French Bulldog, we accept FCI and AKC. So, we are the creators of the American Bully breed with its standards and its stud books and all of that. But for the Brazilian Bull, they are the house registry for that, and they're the ones building that. So, once again, we're here to help them, work with them, but we're not here to do anything that doesn't, come from them originally. So, we're definitely here to follow the guidelines of what they've put out for the breed.
So yeah, basically that. Do you understand what he said, Bia? Ok, perfect.
Então, basicamente, ele já passou por todas as dificuldades, né, que a gente está passando, né, e vai passar, que é realmente a construção de uma raça e a estabilização da raça, que a gente entende que até mesmo muitos criadores tendem a desviar o padrão, e que realmente seguindo uma instituição séria que consiga, né, fazer esse controle é o essencial para a preservação da raça.
And this is exactly why ABKC decided to work with the parent club, because there's no other way to do it. And Dave, do you accept only papers from Brazil for the Brazilian Bull breed, correct?
Yes,
okay.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, this is important.
And that's all we will ever do. I mean, again, like I said, we are not the creators of the breed. We will not be accepting any other pedigrees from any other registries outside of the Brazilian registry. And that's the way it is. I mean, that's the way that breed is. So yeah, no, we wouldn't accept it from any other registry. I mean, we would only accept it from the house registry. And again, we would not be looking to do any other registrations that didn't come from that entity.
Sim, entendeu, Bia? Ele falou
E
que ele
hoje-
vai de outro país que não seja do Brasil, através da IBC, do aval da IBC.
E hoje a única instituição fora do Brasil que a gente aceita é a ABKC.
And this
Porque
is
a
a
gente
very
sabe que ele segue os critérios.
Yes, this is a very important information that Beatriz is saying. IBC, same way that IBC, the only international registry that they will accept for registration of Brazilian bulls is through ABKC. So, and he has...
And again, we wouldn't be issuing registrations that didn't prior come from them. So just to make that clear and make it clear to the public. So if you're trying to purchase a Brazilian bull and it doesn't have IBC or ABKC, then it's not legitimate, number one. And number two, neither one of us would be accepting that dog. But again, we wouldn't be issuing any pedigrees for the Brazilian bulls unless prior coming from that registry. So
Exactly. Ele falou que não vai aceitar nada que não tenha vindo de vocês. And another thing that is important to say is that the Brazilian bull breed, the magic of the breed is the art that the breeders, their vision, their history, their gene pool. So if the dogs are not any Brazil relation, if they don't have any Brazil blood, just because the same breeds are in the formation, that does not qualify. And even being Brazilian dogs, you will have to go through IBC, because not just because you have two Brazilian dogs doesn't necessarily mean that they are going to be exactly what the breed standard requires. So there is a group, a board in IBC that is designated to evaluate breed standard and to say, yes, this qualifies for the breed, to be an individual of the breed.
And that's why it's so important that these new breeds are maintained by the house registry and work only through the house registry. And the reason for that is so many things, not just, as you mentioned, genotype and phenotype, but a bigger thing is also temperament. You know, whatever it is that the ideal versions or the correct versions of this breed is, those are the things that are regulated by the house registry. And that's what ensures that the continuation of the breed, and through all the things I just mentioned, genotype, phenotype, temperament, all of these things continue on through that breed the way it was intended to be. Just for a reference, I'll give you a reference. The American Bully has gone through a lot of different hands since we've started it. You know, we created the standards, we created the stud books, everything for that breed. And, you know, in recent years, there's been a lot of other, what we call pop-up registries that have taken the breed in different directions. And it's actually hurting the breed, and it's hurting the identity of the breed. Is hurting it on all aspects. And if you look at the situation that happened in the UK, here we have the XL Bully banned in the UK, but it wasn't banned because it was ABKC registered XL American Bullies. It was banned because there was a lot of other dogs running under a name, generic name XL Bully over there, and that did get involved in a few attacks, and you know that's what sparked the hype. But you know, if we were able to ensure that those were ABKC registered dogs and true American Bullies, then temperament was one of the big factors of our breed, and one of the main factors in our breed that made it a companion pet and made it docile with humans and all the other things. And so this is another situation of why you don't want dogs to leave outside of the house registry, because there's so many different things that could go wrong. And that's a perfect example right there in the UK, how things went wrong. I mean, they banned a generic term of a dog that wasn't even based on the actual ABKC registered American Bully. So it's very important that house registries are involved 100% of the way through the creation of the breed. And like I said, that's not a 5-year, 10-year, 20-year project. Those are 50-year projects plus, you know.
No, yeah, ele estava mencionando 100%, I agree with you, and that's crazy what we went
Eu entendi o que ele falou. Muito importante isso que ele falou, especialmente em raças que podem carregar uma estigma muito pesada. Imagina se para, de repente, driblar leis lá na Europa ou nos Estados Unidos ou em qualquer lugar que seja, comecem a utilizar a chancela Brazilian Bull para qualquer raça de grande porte que tenha a orelha cortada. Então, realmente, é aí que a gente tem que...
This is so important, especially when we are speaking of breeds that have already the stigma and the pheno that are associated with aggressiveness. Imagine if they started in the UK, for example, using the name Brazilian Bull to associate the larger breeds of dogs. And that's going to happen the same for, for this matter. So it is very important that we
100% exactly what I was just explaining. So 100%. So be very careful of that. I mean, if you start seeing other entities popping up using the Brazilian bull, then everybody needs to put a red flag up there and realize, like, if it doesn't say IBC on it, or it doesn't say ABKC, then it's not legitimate. And this is where these problems start to happen. So these are the things you have to be aware of and be weary of. So yeah, she basically saying exactly what I was saying. It could be detrimental to a breed.
And also,
para quem adquirir cachorro que não tem esses pedigrees, de repente até de uma imprevisibilidade genética, né? A gente não tem como controlar, né, inserções ou de repente cruzamentos ou registros iniciais vindo, né, de outras instituições, e a gente realmente não sabe o que tem por trás. A raça não é um aglomerado de cães parecidos. A gente sabe que, especialmente no tipo bull, tem muitas raças que se assemelham. Mas
let me translate. So it's not too much for me to translate because I forget.
Some of it I get. Some of it's similar to Spanish, but when she goes fast, it's a little difficult. Yeah,
you speak Spanish very well, so, and she speaks Portuguese very well too. Like, I mean, technically speaking, she speaks very nicely.
I would hope she speaks Portuguese.
No, I mean the technical Portuguese, So what she's saying is that because the Brazilian bull breed is not just a group of big bully dogs that anything will make a Brazilian bull. It's not that. And when you get a dog from a registry that is not one of the official registries, IBC cannot guarantee what's behind it, and it's unpredictable. So this is something that, in not only the temperament and the health situation and the issues, is what people love about this breed is the phenotype, and the phenotype will be watered down if it is not done the way that the Brazilian visioned it to be, and following the standards that we already seen some registries, even in Brazil, there's registries trying to confront IBC, and their standards are like, they're starting to look like XLs. They have looser skins, they have more squared bodies, so you can see that there is a difference. So if you want to preserve the breed, you have to understand the importance of the official registries and working with the official registries, especially when the mother country, the parent club in the country has all the material to qualify for the breed. Bia, do you want to say anything?
No, nesse ponto acho que já.
Yes, well, Dave, it's very important to have your help throughout this journey. I think we are in just the beginning of this breed. I don't know if you have numbers, but I have some numbers just from seeing, because I'm so involved with the transports and with the friends that are importing. We have at least another 50 individuals here already within the last 3-4 months. I believe that nationals, we're going to have a lot of Brazilian bulls in the shows. I'm already training my pups here. I have a lot of friends that are importing, and I believe that this is going to be the new breed. I believe this is going to bring a lot of movement for the bully community. As you know, we had some huge sales that really motivated the community as a whole, just because, this is all about dog breeding. And this is not only good for the Brazilian bull breed, for the XL breed, but for the community in general. So I think that having this huge sales and the puppy prices elevated, it helps the economy as a whole. For example, the transporters. Anyways, we're just very happy with what's going on with the breed. I feel very proud and emotional because I was always so involved with this breed, and I never imagined that this would come to where we are today. And I cannot thank you enough for giving us a hand to make this happen.
No problem. I just, one thing I want to speak to you all about, and we'll speak more in private, as time goes on, but we really want to get involved in giving not just a better explanation of the standard, but different things that separate the two breeds so that people can see where are the differences. It's easy to talk about the genotype, but the phenotype, and where the differences lie between the XL American Bully and the Brazilian Bull, which there are differences in phenotype of the two. So just for the public to know, that's something that I'm looking to be working with IBC in the very near future, so that we will be able to come up with sketches and videos and other things that can definitely explain the differences in the phenotype between the two breeds.
That's awesome. And I think that even now, like, I participate in a lot of groups, you know, Facebook and communities, and there's not that same reaction that we used to have, at least from the breeder community. We're not talking the pet homes, you know, but we're talking the breeders. People already know what is a Brazilian Bull. They already know right away, you know, so.
But that's another thing that, you know, there's a lot of people that are not 100% sure, but I will explain one thing to you. Look at the difference between the American Staffordshire Terrier and the American Pit Bull Terrier. The American Pit Bull Terrier came first, and it was denied registration from the ABKC in the very beginning because it didn't have the standards. The UKC was formed for the American Pit Bull Terrier, you know, then they created standards. Moving forward, years, there was some certain breeders that took different strains of the American Pit Bull Terrier to create the American Staffordshire Terrier. 70 years of development from 3 strains of American Pit Bull Terrier, 3 strains only, 3 bloodlines, created the American Staffordshire Terrier. It took 70-year process, only using one breed to create a new breed, only using 3 strands of bloodlines to create this breed. 70 years. Now you have 2 completely different breeds that are identifiably different by phenotype and genotype in the 70-year span. But for people who think that it's too similar or that the 2 breeds should be one, that's just a good reference for people to realize that breeds can come from very similar ancestry and still have very similar phenotype, but vary in different ways that make them completely different breeds. And I do believe that with the work of IBC and the future of this breed, that it'll be a identifiably different breed than the XL American Bully. But for those who don't really understand the differences, just watch in time and you'll see how this breed develops and where the differences lie and why they will and are 2 completely separate breeds. So I just use that reference because that's an easy reference showing how 2 different breeds were made from one breed, you know.
Amazing, amazing reference. Você entendeu, Bia?
Entendi. Nesse caso foi a função, né? O Pitbull continuou realizando determinada função, enquanto o American Staffordshire seguiu outra função, que seria a parte de competição, exposição, abrandamento do temperamento. Exatamente. Às vezes com a mesma base genética, mas métodos de seleção diferentes, a gente consegue caminhar com 2 raças que no final têm temperamento diferente, pool genético diferente e, enfim, é caracterizado de fato uma raça diferente. Muito bem, gostei da comparação.
And she agrees with it, and how the function of, you know, both breeds separated them, even having the same base genetically. Yeah, that's basically what it is, and I think that we are ahead of a great times, huge time for the Brazilian Bulls. I'm seeing it. I live it every day. We're expanding. We're gonna have ABKC registering dogs all over the world very soon, because I'm gonna be all over the world very soon. And IBC, we hope to see you in August at the Mega Encontro. Are you coming?
Yes, and I can't wait to go back to Brazil. My only thing is if I fly into, where'd I fly into last time? Sao Paulo, somebody better send me a helicopter because I'm not sitting in that traffic again. But yeah.
Beatriz will be hosting.
Helicopter pilot, yes. So, no. But yes, I'm looking forward to it. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing the Brazilian Bulls. That's really exciting to me. So I'm really looking forward to it.
You're gonna love it there. You're gonna love the energy, the shows. I think I showed you some videos of the last one that I was in.
Yeah, I saw,
the huge booths and the event, and it's a great energy. It's a really interesting show. Everybody that's watching here, if anybody wants to be there, talk to me and I'll find a way of helping you guys. And yes, thank you so much, Dave. I think this is important that we are, up to date, and as soon as possible, if we can update the website, put a nice picture of a Brazilian Bull there at the ABKC website, and the standard is already there. We saw that, And if you have any questions or anything, you always can reach out to me or to Beatriz directly. Bea, thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you,
No
Dave.
problem. No, thank you. Thank you. Tell Bruno I said hello too.
Bruno, he doesn't
Hello,
know.
hello, Dave.
Hi.
Manda um oizinho.
Okay. Hello. Sir.
That's
Yeah.
Bruno. He doesn't want to show. He didn't do his hair today.
That's all right. Me either. Me either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, in another opportunity, Dave, we're gonna open another live, maybe for questions. You know, that we can prepare better for the questions from the audience. But today, I really just wanted to say hi and bring you both together here and reaffirm that we're together, and this is going to be amazing for not only for the breed but for the whole bull community.
All right. Perfect. Well, thank you all. You all have a good night. I
Thank
need a
you.
Brazilian bull soon so I can be part of the Samba Kennels family. Then I get to stay on the conversation. But nah.
There you go. Or you're
Y'all have a
welcome.
good night.
Okay. Good night. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, Bia. Ciao. Thank you, Bia. We'll talk soon.
Engraçado, entendendo. Nem precisou seguir nada.
A gente tá aqui na live.
Entendeu? Eu falo, fico nervosa na hora de falar.
Bye, Bia. Você saiu? Hey guys, hello everyone. We're here. Hi guys, we're still live. I'm gonna try to read some of the questions now because Dave was his time was short. He had something to do, and I didn't want to keep him too long. I want to say hi to Tony and Didi. Can you hear me?
We can, Audia. How are you?
Hi. Good evening. How are you?
We're doing really good.
Hello.
Yeah, we was watching the interview. I liked it. Yes, very nice. Lots of good information.
Yes, it was very, very nice. Lauren, Samba South, how are you doing? You and your 101 puppies.
Yep, pretty much. We're all good, though. Everybody's good.
Yes, they are beautiful. They are so beautiful. Guys, I'm so happy with the Puma productions. Every puppy that I see from Puma, I'm like, I can't believe this boy is producing so well. Beautiful puppies. And congratulations, because keeping a 15 puppies litter alive, it's not easy. I mean, especially in the first few days there, I've always had big litters, but eventually we know that sometimes one or two don't make it. And Lauren, you rock and roll with this litter. Guys, I just wanted to say thank you for being here. My Samba family was here waiting for us to leave the stage, or for Dave and Beatriz. We had a very important meeting tonight about the importance of having a new breed being ruled and having the guidelines through a parent club, especially when the breed belongs to another country. For example, English Bulldogs, they have their parent club in England, and even though ABKC accepts them here, if there's any changes or any in the regulations or in the standards, that really has to come from the parent club in England. Okay, the same thing happens with the Brazilian Bulls. So, and of course, this is just something that a lot of people asks me, and they want to know, how this works, and will ABKC, will our puppies be ABKC registered Brazilian Bulls? Yes, that's the whole point of our partnership with IBC and ABKC. IBC is the parent club of Brazilian Bulls breed. No one has more knowledge and authority when it comes to the Brazilian Bulls breed than IBC, because they are the parent club. So they started the breed, they wrote the standards, they registered the standard with the entities dog related in Brazil that I am not technical enough to remember the names, but they created the stud books, they created the rules for the registries for the breeders, all the events, all the selection, everything goes through IBC. So if there's anybody that has the authority to say this is a Brazilian bull, is IBC. It's not even ABKC. And Dave Wilson just said that 1,000 times. He's just here to promote and to control the breed from here on, but not just for the registry point of view, and for the events and for the countries that IBC are not in. So we are partnering up with ABKC for that matter. IBC is the one at the end of the day that will call, the calls. They will be doing exactly.
Yeah, they were the developers. I don't understand. I mean, it only makes sense that they are, they're the parent registry. So, I mean, it only makes sense that they're basically in control,
Exactly.
Like I said, it only makes sense that they're the ones with the final word on that.
And yes, and like I said, I mean, it's not just being, we know that the Brazilian bull breed is formed by 4 basic breeds. It started with the pit bulls and the American Bulldog, Old English Bulldog, and American Bully. So these 4 breeds are the base, the genetic base that formed the Brazilian bulls. But the Brazilian bulls were not just created just mixing these 4 breeds. There's a vision, there is a goal, there is a formula that they used to make these dogs how they wanted. They were looking for specific traits, phenotypically wise, that turned to be what we know today, that is the Brazilian bulls. Sorry, my English today is horrible. I had a super busy day, but I'm sure that you guys understand me, because
absolutely, yeah.
If you don't, just ask me.
No, it all makes sense.
But basically what we're trying to say is that just putting 2 dogs of those breeds together does not make a Brazilian bull. It goes way beyond. The gene pool is already selected. The dogs are in Brazil. Some dogs are now coming here, and these dogs are going to produce the gene pool, the local gene pool here, but they have to be Brazilian. They have to be Brazilian originally. I think that's the word. You guys are going to kick me out today because my English is horrible. We have Mr. Vito from Samba Midwest. Let's see if he can join. Hi, Vito. Good evening. Can you hear?
Yeah, I was driving. I thought it was going to be like 8:30.
That's okay. You're in the car today. It's not a big deal. He said, "Hi, I'm going to be in the car." And I said, "I don't care where you are. You just got to be with us." We had a live with Dave Wilson and Beatriz.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. Oh, I was watching while I was driving. Yeah. Went good.
Nice. Let me give a very quick shout out to everybody that's here on the live. I don't know if they're still here. DNH Ranch. Hello, old school Nick. He's always present. Hello, Samba family. Let me start showing the comments here. I love doing that because sometimes I'm not very good at reading, but at least you guys have it on the screen so you all can read it. Hello, Samba family. Always enjoy your live chat content on Brazilian bulls. Let's go. Thank you so much. Oh, Heroes Kennels. What's up, fam? You already know we had to be here for this one. Thank you, Heroes family. We love you. We missed you. I can't wait to see you guys in Cinco. I'm going to be judging the XLs with Brazilian blood at Cinco de Mayo show. Shout out to Buena Vista for putting the show together. Cinco de Mayo, that's going to be on May 2nd, I believe. Hello from Oregon, First American Bulldogs. Hello. Caleb, who is this gentleman on the live? Were you talking about Dave? Dave, yes, he was talking about Dave. Hello, Caleb, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. Nuria Cristobal Calderon. Oh, that was a long name. Hello. Try bullies. This will be a good one. It was very quick. I didn't want to make it too long because it's interesting. If we can do another live, or not a live, but I'm going to do a show maybe with Beatriz and Dave, but I'm going to try to record it so we can put the subtitles, or even now YouTube has the dubbing thing. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but it can be a little tiring for people that don't understand. For Beatriz, for example, but she understands good English, but she doesn't speak. And for you guys too, I mean, it would be a lot better if I could have the double language, you know. And I know my channel on YouTube, for some videos, they already have the other languages. You can watch in any language. Caleb, Samba, Kennels, love the platform. And we love you. If it wasn't for you guys being here, we wouldn't be a platform. This is why we are here. This is for us. This is for you. This is for the community. This is for exchanging information. And that's how we grow. That's how what I always say. We grow, we learn from each other. And I think that YouTube is one of the best platforms in these lives for us to connect with new people, to learn about the breed, to get information from each other, and, you know, to spend a little moment once a week with you guys is just being amazing. I'm enjoying the ride. How are you doing, Vito? What have you got going on today?
Oh, it was hot here. Man, it was 93 degrees.
Yes.
I refuse to turn my air conditioner on. Tomorrow's going to be in the 50s.
Oh my
Too
gosh.
cheap to turn on the air conditioner yet.
Sounds like Texas weather.
Yeah, that's why I was glad to get in the car. I had a good air conditioner in the car.
Well, guys, I wanted to say that for me it was I'm very honored because Dave Wilson coming to our platform, we're just starting, you know, and of course I have a lot of respect for him, and I think it's likewise because he saw how much we struggled in the first few years to bring the breed to the Brazilian bulls, you know, to where it is today. And we owe a lot to him, IBC, and me personally, because he was always very open to make this happen, you know, because at the end of the day, this is good for everybody. In the beginning, a lot of people were confused because, you know, it's a new breed. These dogs are coming from Brazil. A lot of people were mad because these dogs are not American bullies and they are getting infiltrated in the American bully gene pool. And I'm gonna be honest. In the beginning, I thought that I was gonna create the best dogs in the world, mixing the two breeds together. And I think we did create amazing dogs because they do complement each other.
Mhm.
But honestly, with all my pride and knowing this breed, the more I know this breed, the more I want to preserve this breed, as I think that the American bully should be preserved, you know. And it is a little, it's two breeds that will complement each other. They do, but unfortunately through ABKC, we cannot register them together. But I don't know if that's unfortunate or if that's fortunate, because if we start mixing it, the American bully will start losing the American bully traits, and the Brazilian bull, especially the Brazilian bull, because I see that there's more varieties on the XLs, just because there's a lot more XLs, of course. The Brazilian bulls are usually, you know, you see a dog and you know that it's a Brazilian bull. So if you start opening too much, you're going to start losing the qualities and the traits that's what people are aiming for in that breed, which is the big, huge pumpkin head and those shoulders muscles, you know. But anyways, I just wanted to say that it was very nice to have Dave here tonight. Big honor for me. And having Beatriz, she's not only the president of IBC, she's a good friend, personal friend of mine. And it's been a great journey. And now we're here. We're, you know, all together. We all breeding Brazilian bulls in this platform here with, you know, Samba family. Dave said he wanted to join the Samba family. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Yes. And he's very interested in the breed. And I told him, you know, whenever he wants a puppy, I'm going to, or a dog, I'm going to find him a dog. If I don't have one, I'm going to find what he's looking for, because it would be amazing for him to have a Brazilian bull. I would be very happy.
Absolutely.
Yes, he did say 50 years. I'd like to know which new breed that's being registered. That's 50 years in the making. I don't think that's what he meant. Genetically, for you to stabilize genes and pheno, that's what it takes. You know, I breed Dogos Argentinos, and it took us like 60 years to have breed type established. So maybe that's why the XLs are still not I think the pockets and the standards are going more towards the, the breed type is already settled, and that's why they're winning more in shows. But I think that in the last 2 years, I have never seen so many good XLs, great XLs. It's becoming more and more often to see XLs that are actually breed type.
Yeah, it's in the works. I see it myself, and I've only been in it. Didi and I have only been doing it for a year and a half, and that's the first time we've seen the Brazilian bulls, and I'm seeing more and more. We always talk about this. It's not possible. In the beginning, we're talking about it's not possible to create that pocket in an XL body, But I think as people work at it and people start breeding to the standard, I think it's becoming a thing. I'm seeing better and better quality. Not that they were terrible quality, in the American bullies, but I think it's getting better. And I don't know that if it was the cross with the Brazilian bulls or what it was, but I'm seeing more.
I don't think so. I think that the competition is what's making each breed better. I think that's what it is. I think the competition is very healthy. This is a sportsmanship. We're going to the ring, and at the end of the day, we're going to compete in best in show. We're going to have our best dogs. Mm-hmm. So not only I'm not even talking about American Bully XL to Brazilian Bulls. I'm talking the American Bully XL. We've grown a lot, and I say we because I breed American Bully XL. So I see that there's a internal competition amongst the breeders that is elevating the standard of the breed. It's elevating the bar, and that's awesome. Especially because this is at the end of the day a business, and if you're taking your dogs to show and you're being noticed and you're being prized because of your work, that means that you're doing a good job, and that's what people want. People want to be recognized for the good jobs that they're doing in their facilities and in their programs. I have a question here that is a little. It is a question that a lot of people asks me, but I'm going to be very objective. So, what is the status of breeding Brazilian Bull to American Bully? Okay, first let's define Brazilian Bull. Brazilian Bull, that is a Brazilian Bull registered dog that came from Brazil, bred to an American Bully, born in America as an American Bully. Let's not talk about my dogs because I have an exception of American Bullies that have Brazilian blood. Me and a few other breeders here in America. But let's talk about a dog from LPK being bred to a bossy dog. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I now say fortunately because that's what we were aiming, through ABKC, that is not possible because ABKC will not accept it. They are not, that's what they've said 1,000 times. He's not the expert to say that junction will promote or will produce a dog that is a Brazilian Bull. Now, IBC will be the ones to analyze the individuals and to be able to say, yes, this can be done or this cannot be done. If IBC agrees, then it's IBC understanding that litter or those two individuals may produce something that is qualified to be a Brazilian Bull register, and they can register. So that's how I see it. I'm not saying that that's what it's 100% done yet because they have their rules there. I have never done that, so I don't know. My dogs are all for now American Bullies, but I am gradually transferring my litters to Brazilian Bulls. I still have my American Bullies. They will not be changed, but eventually maybe their future litters I can, as long as they have Brazilian blood. That's one main criteria. It has to be at least 50% from Brazil, okay? Brazilian dog, Brazilian Bull, registered Brazilian blood. Miss Lauren, you're so quiet. What's going on? What do you think about all of this?
I'm just listening and taking it all in. I mean, honestly, it's all stuff it's new to everybody. It's not just new to all of our listeners. It's stuff that we're all learning too, because many of us do have dogs that are 50-50, or even, our litter here right now is 75-25. So, I'm just listening and taking everything in, learning.
Yes, you're a fast learner. I love Lauren because she's my second brain. Like, she reminds me so many things. She knows a lot of my life because we talk a lot, and she's so fast learning. It's amazing. I love working with you, Lauren. And yeah, please take notes. Please take notes, because this is gonna be for the books. We're making history here, guys. This is history being formed. It's the base of a breed, and everybody that's jumping in the breed right now is making history. Imagine that in 5 years they're gonna say, oh, Samba, or not only Samba, there is like Sumo, there is Cerberus, there is even Gatorhead. They started their little Brazilian program. They have I don't remember all the name of the kennels now. New Jersey Bulls, they're Showtime Florida. All these people that are jumping in the breed right now, we're going to be seen as the old school people of the breed. You know what I mean? When you think about it, when you think about American Bully, that you think about the OGs, and yes, and all these breeders. So this is the time to jump in, because this is going to grow. Like even Dave was saying, it is the breed of the moment, and we are seeing this just because, not only because of the economy in this breed, I mean the transactions about this breed, but the demand and how people love it, and how people just, all these videos that you post of any of these dogs, they go viral because they are so outstanding, they're so different. So if you like this kind of dogs, and if that's something that it's a direction that you want to take, why not jump into this right now? You don't have to give up your American Bully breeding. You don't have to give up your pocket breeding, or your Cane Corso breeding, or your Dalmatian breeding program. You can still have and add a female or two and work with this, because like I said, I think that now I have people. I started the program. I posted on my Instagram that we're going to be expanding worldwide, and that's the worldwide movement of putting new Samba chapters in other countries, but also having other dogs, taking the gene pools to other countries, other continents. And I have people from Africa, I have people from Morocco, I have people from New Zealand, 100 people from Australia, a lot of people trying to jump into this right now, because they know the importance of being the first ones to have Brazilian bulls in their country. So I'm very honored, and I'm very happy with everything that we have conquered.
And you should be. It's been lots of work.
There is a lot. Yeah. I have an important question here. MTM, could I register Big Papa? Big Papa is a champion tractor son under Brazilian bulls if he is of the standard of them and half Brazilian. Well, technically you could, but because he's already ABKC registered, ABKC will not accept him as a Brazilian bull, because they don't accept dual registry. Okay, you could maybe in Brazil and take him there, but because in ABKC they don't accept dual registry, you couldn't do that. But I'm not the person to answer this. Of course, I just know ABKC rules. I don't know IBC rules as well. But he's a Brazilian dog, technically, and maybe his litters could be registered Brazilian bull. But I don't really know exactly the rules for that. I prefer not to get into that detail. Vito, did you watch the live?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. I was driving.
Do you want to make any comments? We really like when you can comment on it.
Well, the one comment the guy was making about a 50-year breed, I don't think people realize, but every dog in the world has a pedigree, whether we know it or not, that traces back 30, 40, 50,000 years, depending on who you want to, believe, or what fossils they found that they think are domesticated dogs. So there's been breeds, they were called land races, but the point I think people that I've learned, of late, really, because I started in American Bulldogs and I had the same ideas. Oh, you got to breed them, you got to breed tight, you got to breed pure, and all this. Well, with a new breed, you got to watch it because you shrink down the gene pool, and when you get the dogs more uh, line bred, you're going to find things popping out, or you're going to find directions that the breed goes in that you didn't want to go in. The hybrid dogs, sometimes they don't keep their type. And that's why I think it's important to keep as much, to expand the gene pool and just trust in competition.
So when
This breed isn't a working dog, so they don't have a job that's going to evaluate them. They're evaluated by, like you said, the big head, the muscle, hopefully the really sweet temperaments, things like that the breed is known for. But if there's competition, there's going to be that breakout dog that's going to come out and people are going to breed to that. Hopefully there's 15, 20, 30 of those breakout dogs, and there's 15, 20, 30 breeders that set up a program and breed a bloodline a certain way. The more different bloodlines that can be bred together with the same type, the better and healthier the breed is in the future. It might not affect us in 25 years or 35 years. I'll be dead. But in 100 years or 75 years, you want a breed that's healthy, that's, strong. Like I used to be into Dobermans. Dobermans have horrible problems. I mean, they became popular quick, and there wasn't a huge gene pool in the late 1800s when Herr Louis Doberman made the Doberman. And then in the 70s, they got real popular, and they changed. But now you pretty much can't get a Doberman without cardiomyopathy or von Willebrand's disease. And, my sister's friend had a Doberman. They had to put him down at 7 years of age. And my sister's like, can you believe they told me they spent $35,000 on that dog just going to the vet and medication? And I have a friend that has a Doberman that was about the same age. She's a vet. And I don't know what she spent, but a lot of the stuff she does herself. But a couple times she had to take the dog to a specialist, and in about 7 years it died. So I got out of the Dobermans because the last one I had to put down at 3 years of age. But that came from the starting stock. It wasn't diverse enough. It wasn't big enough. So those little things that were hiding in the gene pool got locked in. And so you want a breed that develops, like a German Shepherd or a herding dog or a hunting dog. Some of those breeds are ancient. They're not 100 years old. They're 1,000 years old. And that's why you can get a pointer that will start pointing at 7 weeks old. You can get a border collie that naturally knows to stare a cow down or a sheep down and herd it, or a healer or a Kelpie dog. Those are breeds that are bulletproof. They don't have health problems, and it's been developed for a long, 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 long time. And they had a criteria, and the best dogs got bred. Our breed doesn't have a job, but it still has a type. And type isn't just the way the dog looks. Type is first and foremost the dog's temperament. So if we have competition, we'll produce good dogs. If we shut off the gene pools too quick, or get this idea that, we're breeding them pure, forget about the purity stuff. There's no such thing. There's dogs that are homogeneous for traits, but you can also lock in shit traits and problems. So
if you got a minute, Vito, let me ask you a question. Coming from the German Shepherd side, we found in a pretty quick time that the goal in the German Shepherds was to breed a dog that not could only work, but did great in the conformation ring. We, in the beginning, when we were starting training and stuff, the trainers and stuff would ask you, well, what do you want? Do you want a show dog or do you want a working dog? Do you think when you say that people will start breeding possibly the American Bully and bringing out the working traits, if possible, do you think that will affect the conformation in the ring, the show ring?
The show ring, I hate to say it because I know in this breed a lot of people like the show, and I've been an international judge. I've judged a ton of dog shows, but you got to watch it sometimes. The show ring destroys things because people breed for like silly things, when you got a new breed and somebody tells me, like with American Bulldogs, I used to go to shows and judge a show, and somebody'd cuss me out and say, "How the hell did you put that dog up? His tail's wrong. His tail curls over his back." And I'm like, well, a tail is a one little tiny feature, and in a working breed, it's not the most important. And that dog moves better, he's structured better, and he's got a better temperament. Your dog freaked out when I took my baseball hat off and just about pissed itself. So that perfect tail doesn't mean shit to me. I talked years ago, I was so into
if it's stopped, if the tail is stopped, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, if you got a perfect tail but a shitty dog, what good is it? And the ear set, I hear that with the ears and all these little things. Maybe 50 years from now, when the breed is like locked in and there's been a lot of work done for this homogeneous traits, but really it's never that important. The best working dogs, that is not high on the list. Yeah, I spoke to this guy 25 years ago in New Jersey. He's a Dr. Leighton, I think his name is. Anyway, I talked to him about hips, and they breed the Seeing Eye Institute. They breed golden retrievers, they breed Labradors, and they breed German Shepherds. And I specifically talked to him about, he used pen hip and OFA and all that stuff. And I was just trying to figure out why, what he did. They're real successful. And basically, he told me they took German Shepherd breed and made, within that breed, they made a very tight hipped line. And so he said our criteria isn't like show people. It isn't even as much as like a working dog, because we just want to get the hips and joints and health really good. We want to get the temperament to be trained to be a seeing eye dog. We want those things so it can last 8 to 10 years, which is what they train them to be. And he said, we don't care if the ears are funny. We don't care if the tail is funny, as long as it's healthy, or if it's a wrong color and all that stuff. So the more criteria you have, the harder it is to do. And if you're going to call it, remove a dog from a breeding program, you want to do it for something important like temperament or health or, movement, structure, some kind of fault that's going to affect its function.
I always say the temperament is my number one criteria of disqualification.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on American bullies, but one thing American bullies, from what I've seen, of course, I have
for any breed.
Well, one thing like going to the nationals and going to all the ABKC shows, I never see those dogs fire up on each other, and I see those guys shoulder to shoulder, and they just have, and I've always heard it the last 25 years, people talking in American bullies, we don't want them gamey, we want them easy, good family dogs. And I think and I see it in Brazilian dogs too. Like every Brazilian dog I've seen, I haven't seen one that's spooky or weird or, skittish. I haven't seen that at all. And I was just thinking about that when I was driving and you guys were talking. There should be like some kind of a title, like the ATTS test, American Temperament Test Society test. That would be a cool thing to make, something that's desirable, especially just to keep an emphasis on the temperament.
I think we're gonna get to that. I just think that we are in such a new stage of the breed still. I mean, the base should be already. I understand what you mean, and I agree with you. It's just that there's so much going on when you're forming a breed. I think that, the base should be the basic, which is the health, the temperament, selecting good individuals, the type, because breed type is more important than its structure, in my opinion. And structure and type are different things. They are very closely related, but in my opinion, I don't know, Vito maybe, Lauren maybe, and Tony might disagree with me, but in my opinion, type and structure are different. And let me explain to you why. A dog may be breed type, meaning that dog that will make you fall in love for that breed, and you say, even as somebody that know breeds, and you see, for example, I know Dogo Argentino very well. Okay, let's think about the breed that you know best. So Vito with the Bulldogs, Lauren with the Bullies, Tony with Bullies and Shepherds, and you guys that are watching, think of the breed that you know best. In my case, Dogo Argentino, because I do know Dogo better, much better than I do know the Brazilian Bulls. I'm learning with you guys. So when I think of type in Dogo, I've seen Dogos that have the breed type that are amazing. They are typical Dogo Argentinos, but they might have some structural flaws, small flaws here and there. So this is why structure, in my opinion, is different than type. And for a breed, to form a breed is so many elements that you have to think about, that I think we have to concentrate on the basic elements, which is health, temperament, type, and structure. But be common sense when it comes to disqualifying a dog from your program. I see a lot of people going crazy because, Brazilian Bulls, they have these huge 200-pound shoulders, these huge 200-pound heads, and they want them to be perfect feet. Guys, it's almost impossible, but I do prefer a freak of nature that is a Klaus or a Shake or a Tractor beside me, even with the little flaw that they might have, than having a dog that is common and, like a dog that is perfectly structured, but it has no type. It doesn't bring me that vibe that I want on my dog, which is a Brazilian Bull. A Brazilian Bull is represented by the type. What is the type? Muscles, power, presence,
I agree. I like that's what attracted me to dogs. And I guess if I had a Brazilian Bull that was perfectly structured, had the Dobermans have pretty perfect structure. Let's say all 4 feet perfectly forward, cat feet, rock hard pasterns, a perfect top line, all that stuff. But it's got a pinhead, no muscle or little muscle. It, I mean, I don't think I wouldn't be even fearful of it at all, because I understand in this breed and a lot of these kind of novelty breeds, they're not working breeds. They're pets. They're people's fantasy dog or whatever. That's why a lot of people are like, oh, my dog's a grand champion and this and that. It's like, I've had grand champions, dual grand champions, supreme grand champions. Let me tell you, I've had the freak on my yard. I had a dog called Blue Ballistic, and I loved the dog. I wish I'd have used him more. And he was kind of like a Brazilian Bull. He was real wide in the front, huge fat rear. And he was so wide tracked that when he ran, he looked like a bear cub. He wasn't a beautiful gaiting dog. He was like a gorilla. He looked like a white gorilla. And back then I was so freaked out about producing the most perfect structured working type American Bulldog that I never took him to shows. I never really promoted him. I barely ever took pictures of him. And that dog fed my yard every year. People would want to breed to him. And I'm not the kind of person that likes to, like, if somebody said, can you keep my bitch? I'm like, nope. And they're like, can you ship semen? I'm busy. I don't know if I can do that. And they'd have to rent a hotel and just bring the female and get a live tie at my house. And, he fed all my dogs. And I sold them for a lot of money, really just because I wanted them to go. I loved them so much. I wanted them to go to a good forever pet type home. And, but I had a dog at the same time that was winning, and he won 17 best in shows. He was just a marvel of structure and movement. They were kind of related, but I guarantee you, if I took him to my dog Blue to a show, there'd be a crowd around him everywhere he went. And my show dog, as a matter of fact, I had a guy who's an oldie.
And sorry, Vito, sorry to interrupt you, but who produced better, your show dog or your freaky dog? Your hyper.
Well, honestly, my freaky dog, uh, he was kind of the exception, not the rule to his genetics. And the thing is, I never tried to line breed or do anything off of him. I bred him quite a bit, but and he didn't produce that many dogs that were just like him. But I mean, he was a decent stud. But my other dog, that other dog was inbred, and he would throw great grandkids that looked just like him. So, but my point is, people in the bully game, even American bulldogs, American bullies, Brazilian bulls, old English bulldogs, uh, you could say my dog is a super grand champion. He's the winningest dog that ever won. My dog moves so good, you can balance a champagne glass on his back and run him around the ring. They don't give a shit about that. They're going to go for the freak, which is, that's why I got into the breed. I didn't get into the breed because Klaus is, the most refined creature on earth. I got attracted to him because he's just a freaky monster. He's something about them is like a muscular wild animal or something. They're unique. You just don't see that. They're just an. I mean, you could stare at. Sometimes I look at them. I could just stare at them all day. It's like what? It's like having a weird hybrid creature from another planet in your house. And that's what people want. They want a unique freak. So I'm not so worried about these dogs turning too standardized or too pity or too show dog. There's always going to be show dog people. But even like the ABKC shows, I mean, if I was really judging a lot of those dogs, the ones that win, I'm like, they're not really structured that great. They don't really move that great. So the breed isn't really ruled by structure, and it probably shouldn't be because it's not, it's not a running dog, it's not a bird dog, it's not a herding dog, it's a freak family companion that, you take somewhere and you can't walk 10 feet without somebody saying, "Whoa, man, look at that dog." Yeah. So
the structure is the goal, is the long-term goal. I mean, we strive, and this is something that got me into this breed because I fell in love with the XL, but the ones that I met at that time, they had horrible structure. And coming from shows, I was a show person. I had so many, I was always in every world dog show that you can imagine. I went consecutively in many dog shows, world dog shows, because I was so passionate for showing. My dogs were showing. I used to go to shows in Brazil, shows in Europe, shows in Russia. And that was what I used to do. So coming from an environment of a traditional breed, and when I say traditional, that there's no, it is not a breed like relaxed like the bullies that we can accept. It's very strict. Those breeds that we see in AKC and FCI. And that was my mindset. My mindset was, show type and form follows function, of course. And this is what defines a breed. A standard breed is usually a functional dog. And when I started seeing the XL bullies here in 2018, I loved them, but my eyes were hurting every time I saw those pasterns or I saw the high rears in the individuals that I had contact with, okay? Not talking about anybody's individual, but the ones that I had contact with in 2018. And that's what gave me the drive to come to this breed, because I was already tired of doggos. I just didn't have any, the passion was there, but I didn't have any challenge anymore because I was always competing at the highest level of competition. I went to Westminster with two females. My two females placed first and second place. So my passion was to compete. And when I saw the bullies and I fell in love with the bullies, and I used to joke with my friends, I'm going to breed bullies. And they say, they just chill, is because they knew I was serious. And I wanted to see that breed improve. And I was already playing in my mind, how can I make this breed better? So the long-term goal is to get a breeding formation. It's getting better. Everybody's getting better. You see the dog shows, the quality of the XLs are getting better. And that's what we should aim for, because the structure is closely related to health, longevity. The better structure a dog, the longer he will live or she will live. And that's what we should aim. Of course, we want freaks, but if we can have freaks that are correct that have, that have better structure to support all that freakiness and long, good hearts and good hips and good healthy temperaments. That's what we want to strive for. And right now it's not the moment for you to be selecting a bull because it has a little bit of a twisted foot or a little bit of an underbite. These things will come with this breed, and it's not a big deal. You're going to have to select the type, the temperament, and then the structure as we go on. The structure is going to be throughout the next generations of your selection. That's how I see it. That's my point of view. Everything that I say here is how I see it. I'm not saying that I'm right, but this is how I am creating my program, and this is what I believe that is right,
Yeah, I think the outrageous freak factor is what rules things. A good example is when I came to pick up my puppy at your house, I'd seen Tractor. I'd seen a lot of Tractor. And I didn't think anything ill of him. I thought, wow, he's nice, he's nice, he's nice. But when I got to your house and I looked at him, I thought, whoa, he's freaky. He's as freaky as any of these other dogs. But I think what it was, I was driving home and I was like, why didn't I see that? And I think it's because he's so harmonious, he's so balanced, and he's so well structured. I just takes away from you don't have any freaky things that stand out. And then also I think it's color. But I thought, I'm not a novice. I've been around dogs forever, and I've bred oldies, and I've had the craziest, bulliest looking American bulldogs. So I'm not somebody that just came in off the street yet. Here I am. The freaky thing just didn't pop to me until I saw him in person. I thought he's as thick. He's about the same measurements, same dimensions, same proportions as Klaus. But
he is.
Maybe he's so straight that I don't know. It's weird. And maybe the color, he's a blue fawn. It just doesn't pop in pictures and video. But yeah, it's just that's the weird thing.
Yeah.
I look at Shake. Shake wasn't perfect, but what he was so freaky. Like his height and his proportions, his neck, his shoulders, his cheek muscles, his skull, his fat, huge monster butt. He's just a freak. He's not a show dog. I mean, he'd probably win a show because he has won shows, but I'm just saying he's not like textbook confirmation dog. But I don't really think anybody in this breed would take textbook structure if it didn't have that freaky proportion in the muscle.
And the funny thing is, guys, I think that what you're saying, Vito, I kind of know that Tractor, everybody that comes here, they end up being like their favorite dog, because he's not only very correct when it comes to structure, he's very freaky. But because he's a correct freak, and good feet and good rear, good angulation, he turns out to be cleaner, a cleaner dog. So I believe that maybe that's why he's not as exciting as seeing someone like Klaus he's just, very hyper-typed. That's what I call him. And the color helps too. But when it comes to color, we know that Klaus had the worst color, and I still believed in him when I brought him, and everybody laughed at me. You're bringing a black fawn? And I said, yes, I'm bringing a black fawn. But, this boy, he just he changed the game. I think if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be where I am today, But there you go. We have a video of both of them together. That's it. I mean, you see, they're very similar in size. Actually, Tractor has a bigger head diameter than Klaus. But Klaus, I think he's bulkier. I don't know how to explain, but this diameter here, because Tractor has more temporal muscles, more expressed than Klaus. Klaus has a flatter head, but he has more overall skull. they end up having about the same size head. The tractor is just a little bit bigger, and they weigh about the same. But he's just more clean. And I think that being clean is what makes him more boring to the videos. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna
That's why I
say-
was driving home. I thought, what is wrong with me? When I left, I was like so impressed with him. And because
Yeah,
I
I think
was
he's
inside the
just
kennel
structurally-
building, he was the same size.
I think he's just so structurally correct that nothing really, he doesn't have anything on him that stands out, if that makes any sense. He's just so
Harmonious.
yes, very proportionate. His head is not oversized. He's got a big head, but it's not oversized. He's got a wide chest, but it's not too wide. He's got a nice rear, but it's just so fluid and harmonious and proportion wise that he doesn't stand out like this little skinny dog with this big huge head, or or just this big wide chest that he doesn't have anything that just stands out other than.
But what makes him impressive is in person, because when you see him in person is when you actually see
Yes.
his muscle definition and how thin his skin texture is, and that muscle definition, it just is not visible to the eyes when you're watching a video of tractor. It's not because it's my dog, but I think he's one of the top studs in the world right now for what he's supposed to be, like as far as structure, as far as temperament. He's a sweet boy. He will not fight, not even a fly. He's very, very sociable with anybody and any dog. And, he just doesn't have this. Like, this is something that Klaus has. Klaus has drive, and he's always very confident. And not that Tractor doesn't, but it's just that, I don't know, Klaus is a freak. He's a hyper type. That's what I call a hyper type.
Yeah.
And
He's got, a little bit of ball drive, like his son, Puma. And the only one I've ever seen kind of that I think is similar is Big John. They have like he has
Big
a little
John,
ball
yeah,
drive.
he has a lot of drive, that boy.
He's got a lot of fire. Yes.
Oh, did you guys see this video? I put Tractor on the tractor.
Oh.
And he fell. Poor thing.
Yeah, he falls off.
Yeah.
I think he was drunk.
Yeah. But you know what the funny thing is? Even though he's a typical Brazilian bull, and I'm going to contradict myself here saying this, but he fits so well in the standard of the American bully. But now I see the difference. Like, now I understand the differences. He has a little longer body than the bully should have, the American Bully XL. It's just because he also reminds me a lot of a pocket. He reminds me, like, his head is, I have a picture of him. I made a joke once with a whole bunch of pockets, and I put his face in the middle of one of them. And I asked, which kind of breed is this? And everybody said, this is an American Bully pocket. And Tractor was there. You couldn't even notice that he was there, But he's a very well representation of the Brazilian bull, because he's typical, even though he fits the standard of the American Bully, he's a typical Brazilian bull. He's just, I don't know. I think that for me, it's him. I don't think Klaus is a typical Brazilian bull. I think he has Brazilian traits, but his face, he has tight skin. He has the muscle expression, but his skin is a little too loose from the neck and up. And we don't want loose skin in the Brazilian bulls. We want, tighter and tighter. But he's producing better. He's producing a lot better than himself when it comes to that. He just got so much area, But yeah, guys, it's just, just to illustrate a little bit here.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit not too long ago. I don't know if you remember that.
Here, this is what I wanted to find. Sorry, this is what I wanted to find. Like, when Tractor became a champion. Well, actually, this is nationals. And he was, amongst this champion American Bully XLs, and he won. He was qualified between the cut, like the two that made the cut. He was one of them. So, they fit the standard of the American Bully. Mm-hmm. Look at this picture, look at this video that I transformed the standard on. he fits it, but there's differences, and the differences are so slight. But that's what breed type is when you can actually notice the difference in the standard, and the length. The length is one of them. The shape of the muzzle is another one. You can see that the shape of the muzzle of tractor is completely different than the muzzle of the American Bully. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm learning. At one point I didn't know that. I didn't see that. Actually, when I made that video, I was still believing that my dog represented the American Bully XL better than many. And I still think he does, but he represents the Brazilian Bull a lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Didi said something about that the last live. It's like when we went and picked up rigs, had no idea that we were picking up a 100% Brazilian Bull bloodline.
Yeah.
We just thought we was getting an XL Bully. They don't. I think I was going to say earlier that you and I talked that your dogs are not typically what we see as an Brazilian Bull. You know what I mean? I don't know. There's just to me, there's just a different build. You said,
I mean, we knew that they were from Brazil and everything. And,
yes, correct.
That's what most people like.
Correct.
That's what caught their eyes, But now we have a whole new gene pool coming to America. That's really the finest of the Brazilian bulls, at least here in Samba. We're having this litter from Cafeína and Mombrusos. Oh my God.
Yeah,
You guys,
did
you see Cash Flow that I just posted? And he's a black fawn. I'm hoping, and I prayed for God, because Klaus is my baby, but I didn't get the chance to raise him. And now I think God gave me Cash Flow, and Cash Flow, he's my little Klaus, We'll see. I hope so.
It's a possibility. He'll probably be living in Nocona. You'll have to come visit.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we have some exciting announcements here to make in a little bit. Samba South has Juju, which is Jumanji and Bucanas. Samba Midwest has Samba South already has some of my dogs. All of our branches here have already Samba Kennels dogs, but I'm very happy to see what's going to happen when Lauren has her first production with Juju and Vito. He's got some gems hidden there. Vito is my lab. He's my Black Ops. Is that what you call it, Vito?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that today. I was going to do one of my dogs XL, one of my other dogs Brazilian Bull, but I don't know. I'm thinking I'm just going to go Brazilian Bull.
Well, you have a Brazilian Bull now, so
yeah, I got what did I say? Oh, Payback.
Payback.
Yeah. I was just talking to a friend of mine. I'm going to buy a weight pull harness like for a puppy. I think I want to start not really for competition, just to train him, to work him out a little bit.
For you guys that don't know, Payback is Cash Flow's littermate brother, and both of them are black fawns, and they are just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Payback.
Wait till he gets here.
He's arriving to you on, I think, Sunday. He said something like that.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure, Vito. I'm not sure. Please don't.
Sunday or Monday's good. Either one.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me show.
Any day works fine. Yeah, I did a deep dive on their pedigree from the pedigrees you sent me all the way back.
Let's talk a little bit about pedigree, because Vito is the geek of the pedigrees. This is Cash Flow, you guys. That's the dog we're talking about here. Cash Flow. Look at his head. And Vito has his littermate brother, very similar to him. Can you talk about this pedigree a little bit, Vito?
Yeah, I'll see if what I remember. I have a little notebook. I like to write like percentages, because I want to figure out what genetically might the dog be charged.
Mhm.
And Monbruso, I always say if I'm saying this wrong, I want to say Monbrucellosis, but
This
Monbrusel, is that how you say it?
Yes.
He is his he's like really, really tightly bred. Like I think his father is badass. Buchanan's father. Isn't Buchanan's father badass?
No.
Yeah.
No, his grandfather is Buchanan's father. His father is
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. His
Mont
father,
Blanc. Mont Blanc.
Brucellosis, or I don't know why I keep saying it, Brucellus, or whatever his name is. His father is inbred badass. So he is from badass bred to his daughter.
Brucellosis, you killed me now. That's
And then,
Brucellosis right there.
so he's an inbred on top, and then there's another shot of him on the bottom. So he comes out to be like 5/8 Bearzilla. And he doesn't have any new iron in him. So
He
it's
doesn't.
like,
He doesn't.
yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Kafina has a little bit of Bearzilla, and she doesn't, I don't think she has new iron, but she does have Sunshine Bulls, American Bulldogs, like I think almost 25%. So
Yes.
it's going to be interesting. You know, I look at that, like I look at Riggs, and I look at like his sister I have, Ella, and I mean they're not exact, but Riggs is a lot like, to me he's a lot like Bearzilla, not just because he's chocolate, but because
He's got a lot of similarities. A lot
yeah,
of similarities.
he's got the what I think of as like the pit monster type. Where I mean they all do, all the really good ones do, but some of them are a little bit bigger, some of them are slightly bullier, some of them have a little bit wider muzzle, but they're all that general type. Even though Klaus doesn't have any Bearzilla in him.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't have Bearzilla, and he doesn't have Bulldog, you know.
yeah, he has a lot of pocket way back there, but it gets confusing because there's one dog called Cash Pot 2, and then there's Cash Pot. And I thought,
I think
is it confusing the dogs or?
our audience probably know. Cash, confirm with me, you guys. Cash Pot 2 is half brother of Cash Pot Chavez. That both of them are Dex's son. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah,
Confirm
yeah,
with me.
I believe that's right.
Is that correct, Vito? And
Yes,
Cash
I
Pot
think
2,
so.
I think, is in Brazil.
Yeah,
Or
so I guess there's a white dog that came off a Cash Pot. I guess they imported that dog.
That's the
It's a white dog. I can't remember.
Komodo's grandfather, I think, or father from
Yeah.
Cloud bloodline. Yeah.
But it's so weird. Like they're back in the 5th, 6th, 7th generation, and the pit bull or the big XL dogs, I don't recognize any of those dogs. There's not a whole lot of pedigree on those dogs, but I don't know if they go back to what the others, what Bearzilla has, the gargoyle and the Viet shark stuff, or if it's just South American, Brazilian pit bulls that they had or something. I don't know. But it's weird. I when I look at Klaus, I'm like, he doesn't have any pocket in him. But I did post something, I think, on one of my pages, and a guy that I know that has American Bulldogs, he made some comment, and he said something like, he just looks like a big pocket. And I thought, what are you talking about? And then I started looking at them. Maybe I know I'm biased or something. I see pockets. I used to have a pocket. I used to have a Razor's Edge pocket. Somebody sold me the dog. He had temperament issues, but they told me, oh, it's because the guy had a bunch of puppies and he trained it to be protective because he had a litter stolen. But it was genetic. He was a cool dog. He was what I think a pocket should be. He was from Razor's Edge Dozer Daisy, and he was a blue dog. He was a pocket, but he was real square. But he had a little lightning bolt tail that was about 3/4 in length, and he was pretty undershot. And he had a pretty good undershot. And I guess that was 20 years ago, or maybe 15, 16 years ago. And the guy got rid of him because the dog would be cage aggressive. And he was like the third owner, I think. And he said, oh, it's because the original owner made him mean. Well, I just think it was something weird, some strange thing, because I bred him once to one of my Alu bulls, my little old English bulldogs type dogs. And I produced a male from him. He was a really cool looking dog. I won't tell you what I called him. He had that same temperament. He had the weird, I don't know why. If you walked in the yard with him, he was good. But if he was on the other side of a fence or in a crate, he would just, if he didn't know who you were, he'd flip the crate. He'd just get crazy.
Really?
Yeah. So now when I see a lot of the pockets, they're real long bodied and their legs are so short. It's like an English bulldog, like strong dwarfism. I mean, they have an American bully head, but I don't know, they just seem longer bodied, a little different. Although I see some that are really just cool looking, real muscular, short backed dog, not short back, but shorter backed. It's just, so when somebody says, oh, XLs need to look like pockets, it's like somebody rubbing their fingers across a chalkboard to me. I'm like, what? No way.
Excuse me just a second. I just want to say hi to Adam Levador. He's writing here. Where is Buchanas? Buchanas is doing great. I don't want to get excited and talk about her because she's going to be my next breeding. I'm just not sure if I'm going to skip this breeding or not. It's going to depend on when she comes in heat. And that's going to be probably my last breeding with her for now anyways, because she's already had 2 litters. She's doing great. She's here in the backyard. I made some pictures of her today, and I will post her soon. Okay, thank you for asking. Sorry, Vito.
She's going to go to Puma, right?
Don't say it. I'm not sure yet.
I don't know. I don't know what you were going to do. I'm just saying that's what I'd like to see.
I don't know yet. I'm going to decide if I'm going to have Buchanas and Puma or Buchanas and Klaus. I think this is really something that I don't know yet. I think either one would be amazing. And I'm thinking about it. If you guys watching this live want to give me your preference, that's why I don't want to breed her now. I want to make sure that I make the right decision. And I might give her a rest for the next heat. And then I'm thinking either Buchanas and Puma or Buchanas and Klaus. Don't spoil it, but you already did. So I didn't want to spoil, but you already said it. So, but it's not done yet. So maybe I'll change my mind. Who knows? We're going to have some crazy breedings next year. The end of this year, Samba South has an amazing breeding coming up. Line breeding, American Bully, line breeding, but with the Brazilian Bull blood. And this is what I like about this breeding, is that it's going to be a breeding that is very typical of the American Bully, with a lot of American Bully, but with touches of the Brazilian Bull. And at least the parents are very American Bully looking. I'm not saying a word anymore. Please, Vito, don't say it.
Oh, I don't remember. I thought Lauren did a breeding already with her big giant female, didn't she? Lauren, are you awake?
I'm here. I'm barely awake, but I'm here.
Didn't you do a breeding? Didn't you have that one female that's the XL Bully female you got that's real big?
Yeah, Rousey, but I haven't. We did breed her. She didn't take this time, so we are gonna re-breed her. Possibly in the fall. We'll see. I've got a couple of different options coming in the fall. One thing I know for sure that we're doing, and then maybe an opportunity for a couple of others. But I don't know if it'll be her or if I'm gonna breed my Hannah and Tractor daughter. I'm thinking about doing her in the fall too, so we'll see.
I'm trying to bring Lauren to full time.
I'm this close.
I know. Sister, I'm here. Whatever you need, I got you.
Yep.
We're going to make it happen. I see you so happy with your litter, and I love the passion that you have for them and how beautiful your puppies are looking. I already congratulated you in the first time, and I'm gonna do it again because you're doing a great job. And where's Dee Dee?
She's on the sidelines over here. I don't know what she's.
I'm right here.
I have
I don't
I
know
have
what
a surprise. I have a surprise for Dee Dee and Tony, but I don't know if I should say here, you guys. What do you guys think? This is something that nobody knows.
You should say it.
No,
What?
should I say it? I don't know if I should say it online or not.
Yeah, because we have no idea either, Lauren.
I have a surprise for them. I love surprising the people I love, and you know, you're my family. You're always gonna have some surprises from me. I hope that they're all good. I just sent last night. It was like I sent a dog to Vito, and one of my females, and that was already in the plans. And in the middle of the night, I said to him, "Hey, Vito, I'm sending you one of my puppies. I don't want him to go anywhere. You keep him. I'm keeping 4 puppies from this litter, one with each branch, basically." And so I sent him the one that's cash flow's twin. I call them the twins, and he's gonna call him Payback. But do you want to know the surprise or not?
Spill it, sister.
We want to hear it.
We want to hear.
We
Okay.
want to hear it.
I don't know. I think I shouldn't say this because this is something that it should be talked before, you know, and I'm public here right
Well,
now.
we can wait. Well, we can wait.
No, let's say it. Fuck
Okay.
it.
Okay, now.
Okay, go.
Okay, say it.
Say it.
Ready, go.
Okay, Tetra's going to Samba Red River, right?
Yep.
She's almost ready. I'm just making sure that she's good to go, and she's already, you know, she's weaned and everything. She's just going back in weight, and her hair is a little ugly still, but as soon as she's ready, she's all for you. We have been deciding on the litter for Tetra, and a few studs crossed my mind. I think I have made a decision that I would like to discuss with you guys. That's why I'm here in public saying that I want to know your opinion, and I want to know the audience opinion, but I might do a repeat with Shake.
Ooh.
We're ready. We're ready.
Yes.
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 Absolutely.
The only thing is, I just have to see the timings because I want to plan the litters of all the branches so we don't have too many litters going on. I want to give focus to each branch having the best litter possible and that they don't compete. This is how I work, you guys. You know, I think about everything. I think about the market. I think about the branches. I don't want them competing with each other. We're all a family, but I don't want you guys to have the same genetic. This is why me and Lauren, we decided to go Puma and Knuckles because I was doing Tractor. She was going to go Tractor and Knuckles, and I was going to go Tractor and Tetra. And I said, hey, let's wait. Let's do Tractor and Tetra, and let's do Puma and Knuckles because they, you know, it's genetically different because we're going to have the same thing. So I'm thinking that I might do a repeat with Tetra. I just want to make sure that we don't do at the same time that Lauren is having her litter because it's going to be genetically similar. And I want to make sure that each litter is going to be a superstar litter for you guys. So if you accept very soon, I don't know if it's going to be now or it's going to be in 6 months or in a year, but we're going to have a repeat of Shake and Tetra because this litter is absolutely amazing. We have Sultan, we have Sienna, we have Sarah, Trufa in Spain. We have dogs here in America. They're absolutely beautiful, and if you guys want, that's something that I might do.
You were saying there was another one. Can't be
There's-
better than Jake.
No, not another one.
Oh.
There is more dogs. There are more puppies from this litter that are amazing. This was an amazing breeding, so I'm really thinking of repeating it.
No, we're 100% on board.
Yep. I'm excited for that one.
100.
Who wants one?
Yeah, I know.
And now
Me.
I
there's
don't
proof.
like talking. Listen, I don't like talking about this because now my phone is already I've
And now
already got
there's-
a few messages here of people trying to.
I'm
not
watching
kidding, of people trying to put a deposit on these letters.
Yeah,
Calm down, you
I'm
guys.
watching the
Go.
comments.
Yeah.
I'm watching the comments over
Yeah.
here. They're already sold.
Yeah.
No.
No.
I'll tell you that shake tetra litter, it really threw some great structures.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And I mean,
She's such an amazing mother, and she's such a reproducer. Like, she's a super producer. You know, she's producing way better than herself.
And that's
Tell you
three,
that.
and that would be 3/4.
Brazilian.
Yeah, that'd be 3/4 and quarter. Yes.
So yes, you guys, we have some beautiful stuff coming up. I mean, how
Good.
can how can you go wrong? I don't want to say, I'm not going to spoil the letter from
Lauren.
Lauren. That's going to be another sold out letter, and I don't want to spoil it. So
Yeah, super excited.
yes, it is exciting. I
It is,
mean,
for
we
sure.
have people.
Yeah, we're ready. We're
Guys,
ready. Yeah, because we were thinking about our 2 girls, but that's only going to be their second heats. I think we'll wait for another.
let
for
them
another-
mature a little bit, of
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, because they're like I said, they came in late, but it's still going to be pretty young for them at their second. So I'm totally on board with that and
Yeah.
waiting another heat cycle with our girls.
I'm reading the comments from Instagram. You guys, you have no idea how I wish I could read all of them, but there's so many that arrive here for me. I'm gonna try to read some of them. People are super excited there too. Hello, Moosey Muscles. Hello from Moosey Muscles. Hi. BZ Bonsai. Go to Klaus. I think they were talking about Bucanas. Then an offspring to Puma. I already have an offspring of Bucanas and Shake that I could take to Puma, and that's Mona Lisa. You know, and we have Smoke, and we have Millie with
Millie
Vito.
Vanilli.
Millie Vanilli.
Yeah,
Cloud.
Millie Vanilli.
I'd love to see Puma. Everybody's saying like the options are split. Tractor coming for us 2 times Tractor to a 2 times Klaus. Opa, tô chegando. There's a Brazilian guy here. Adriano, hello. Curiosity Kennel. I do so bad holding surprises. LOL. I'm always gifting people early. Me too. I'm terrible. Oh, you just saw it.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, I'm honored to have been here have been here to witness it. That's cool. Good morning. Well, good morning. Somebody from the other side of the continent or the planet is saying good morning. Good morning to you too. Tetra comes from Jasmine. Yes, Tetra comes from, somebody's asking me, Tetra comes from Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine is the mother of Boss's Tetra. That is the mother of Lily. That is my Tetra's mother. So you guys, we have been live for 1 hour and 47 minutes. It's already late. I had 3.5 hours of sleep last night because the ground shippers came here at 3 a.m. and I had to ship off some babies, and then I had to go to town, and then I came back, and then I had another delivery. So it's been pretty busy for me, as you imagine, as it's been with probably for everybody, and that's good because busy is business, they say. So yes. I'm working a lot. I'm very grateful for every opportunity that's been ahead of us, but more than anything, these are all things that pass by. What stays is the love, is the friendship, is the things that we built, is the name that we planted here in this planet. And this is what I aim to do, to always leave a name with everything that we do, through our transparency, our friendship, our family environment. This is what I want to portray for the bully community, because when I arrived in this bully community, it was one trying to kill the other. And at least if we can do our part, this is the Samba family for you, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next Thursday. Vito,
good night to everybody.
Lauren,
enjoyed it. Yes, you guys have a wonderful night.
See
you next week.
Hey, what about we can leave with some music again? Let's
same
put some
time,
music
same
again.
place.
Which one? The Texan one or the Samba Time?
They're all good.
I like them all.
They're all good.
Let's go Samba Time.
Worldwide.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next live. Love you guys. Thank you so much
Good
for
night.
being here. See you later.
See you
Alligator.
guys.
From Brazil to
Luego.
Texas, we built this from the mud. No talk, all results. Yeah. We from the yard where the champs don't sleep. Bloodline real, the roots run deep. The powerhouse Klaus, all muscle and tone. Champion tractor for perfection shown. She's that chocolate color perfection. But Bacana's got that smooth connection. She, the world legend. Shine so bright, now the future's lit, we taking flight. Samba Kennels, we don't play around. Brazil to the States, we shut it down. Drip too clean, our boots too loud. Talk that talk, we made the ground proud. Samba, samba, talk. Samba, samba, talk. Samba, samba, talk. Talk that talk, we made the crowd proud. Brazilian bulls, yeah, that's the wave. Stacking winners, we breed brave. Every dog solid, head to the bone. Ain't no copy, this line I own. From the block to the ring, we bring that heat. Big paws, big names, can't compete. Samba family, all worldwide known. We stay original, hold our throne. Mas samba tá pesado demais. Brasil no topo, força em paz. Beat hits hard, that samba sound. Texas